Good morning and welcome to today's reflection for Friday the 19th of August. Do you find it a bit confusing or even exhausting listening to Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak arguing over which is the best way to solve the country's cost of living and economic problems? Not to mention all the pundits and economists with the many different opinions. So many discussions seem to go around in circles, with people expressing very definite views about what to do for the best, even when the evidence is often contrary to the views being expressed. It reminds me of an article by Margaret Silf, in which she describes a heated theological debate at a conference of learned scholars. And the issue being debated was about whether human beings really contain a spark of God. Some declared that there is a bit of God in everyone, while others insisted that only those who believed certain things could be saved. Some said that it was supremely important to belong to a particular religious group and to hold to the tenets of that group and defend them rigorously. Others were more open in their understanding and declared that no one group could ever hold the complete truth. But finally, a young man who had never written any books and had not been ordained in any church stood up and told them about an ancient philosopher called Empedocles, who had lived 6 centuries before Christ, and who had asserted, God is a circle whose centre is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere. And after a stunned silence in the auditorium, the delegates demanded that he explain himself. Well, he said, I think this means that God is in every particle of creation and in every human heart. Therefore, God's centre is simply everywhere, and God's circumference is nowhere, because there is no edge to divinity. It is impossible to be outside the circle. When we draw circles that include some people and exclude others, we are not being true to the divine intention. And with this, the conference adjourned for lunch. So, rather than debating endlessly the exact form of God, perhaps it is better to study the nature of God by looking at the life and works and sayings of Jesus. After all, he gave the world plenty to think about during his short time on earth. Loving God, may we not get bogged down in theology, but also respect the views of others with different views to ours. Help us to look to your Son for the best example of your loving and merciful nature. May we also look to be more like him by our actions and our words.